This is starting to become ridiculous, but really fun to watch. Last night, the Athletics did it again. Down to their last strike in the ninth, Chris Davis hit a monster opposite field two-run homer, and the A's won again in comeback fashion as this 2018 season is becoming a memorable and historic one. Tonight, Bob Melvin and the boys go for the rare four-game sweep here in Arlington, as this green and gold team really is must-see TV. A's and Rangers, next. We're at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. The A's have won 5 in a row. The A's have won 9 out of 11, and tonight they will go for the sweep. It's the A's and the Texas Rangers coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, we know Chris Davis hits home runs in bunches. We've seen it now for, 2.5 years, right. Almost 3 years. But he's taken it to a new level the last 4 games, Ray. So not only 6 home runs in the last 4 games, but huge home runs. Every one of those have meant something. I
think that's the biggest thing. When you hit an important home run, you are doing something. Take a look at Sunday against Cueto. First inning, hanging curveball, 2-run home run. That got the A's on the board against the Giants, and another sellout crowd. But this one was a big one against Melanson. The hanging or the high cut fastball that he hit out to right field, and no doubt there. But then what he's done in this series, opposite field against Claudio, that was Monday night. This is over the bullpen here in Arlington. That is a heck of a poke there. But what he did also in the 10th inning against Bibbin Dirks, a hanging changeup, that was up. He had a 3-run home run. Of course, last night, another hanging slider from Guerin, middle of the plate, straightaway center, a 3-run shot. And oh, by the way, how about this 98-mile-an-hour fastball outside, up, upper tank in right field for the game winner. The A's came back again, excited dugout. But Chris Davis is the guy if he's pitched to. Why? But they keep pitching to him. He keeps hitting home runs. Trevor Cahill takes the mound for the A's, his 11th start of the season, where he pitched pretty well against the Giants on Saturday night. That was that extra inning game. Got a no decision, but he was much better in that start than he was in the start before. Talk about run support, but you're like his philosophy, Kipe. That is, stand on the mound in this heat, get the ball, throw the ball, let my defense do the work. Let's hope he does that tonight. And let's hope also he gets some run support, because he has been a great addition to this ball club, coming back as a starter. He's healthy now. Let's see if he can pitch that way. What's going to happen tonight? Who knows? See if we have some more excitement. So it's been a great series so far. The A's will try to finish it off and get the sweep tonight here in Arlington. We'll have lineups at first pitch when we come back. It's the A's and the Rangers.
by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $5.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box.
So the Rangers have taken the field and we're set for baseball. Fourth and final game of the series here at Globe Life Park. And the A's trying to finish off what would be a very exciting 4-game sweep. See if they can do that. Game time weather for tonight. Presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. And it's funny, it's 101. And this is the hottest start time of the game of any of the games in this 4-game series. And, you know, you're thinking it's a couple degrees difference, but we actually can feel it. I mean, it is warmer tonight than it has been in the other nights. A starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. And here it is. Nick Martini's going to get a start. He's been doing a good job coming off the bench, so he'll start in left field. Then Simeon at short. Lowry at second. The red hot, and I mean red hot, Chris Davis will hit in the cleanup spot. Then it's Olsen, Piscotty, Chapman, Lucroy, and Dustin Fowler.
And the youngster, the young man, Bartolo Colon, 45 years young on the mound for the Rangers, making his 19th start. 2 of those have come against his former team, the Athletics. One back in early April, one in early June. But Bartolo Colon just continues to go. It's really amazing. And I think Kaipi's probably going to throw a few fastballs.
Yep.
Do you think?
80 to 90%.
And it just, you know, uses all 4 quadrants, and he'll just throw the fastball, change a little speed, turn it over a little bit, a little two-seamer, a little cutter.
So Colon is ready, and so is Nick Martini, and this ball game is set to get underway. Bartolo Colon. First pitch of the game is eased in there for a strike at 85 miles an hour. That's Ted Barrett calling balls and strikes, and he is the crew chief. And the second pitch of the game, it hits Nick Martini, and the A's have a base runner.
In fact, that was one that was going into him versus when he was with the A's, Cap. We've talked about this often, where he would like to wait until he was assured of having the two-seam fastball working before he went inside to left-handers.
Rangers defense tonight. Gallo in left, Tochi in center, Shu in right, Profar at third, Andrus at short, Odor at second, and Ronald Guzman is at first, with Chirinos doing the catching. So the A's have a leadoff runner on here in the first inning as Marcus Simeon steps up. Simeon hits a high fly ball to left. Gallo looking up into the sunshine, and he's got it. So that's out number 1. Interesting note on Bartolo Colon, Ray, and this is quite an achievement if and when he gets it. He has 245 career wins. Most wins among pitchers born in the Dominican Republic, okay? But he needs one more win to become the winningest pitcher from a Latin American country, not just Dominican Republic. So if you think about that and all the great pitchers that have come out of Latin American countries, and he has a chance to have the most wins of all of them, that is quite an accomplishment.
Well, considering as many years as he's played, and how many years ago they said he's going to stop playing, but he just keeps going. What was it against the Red Sox? He had more. The coaching staff had more bats against him than the lineup.
That's right. Yeah. Indians, Expos, White Sox, Angels, Red Sox, Yankees, A's, Mets, Braves, Twins, Rangers. Good career record. Only 184 losses to go with the 245 wins. So trying to pass Dennis Martinez. Dennis Martinez was from Nicaragua.
El Presidente. A perfect game caught by Ron Hassey. One of 2 that Hassey caught. But Bartolo Colon tied one, Marshall, when the A's were here on June the 6th. He went 5 innings. Remember that game Kipe did? He had to wait around 4 innings to see if the Rangers were going to win. They ended up scoring late and scoring more. But at one time there was a concern that he might not be able to pick up the win, but he did.
Lowry swings and misses.
Just watching and looking at Bartolo Colon, now picture him at 150 pounds. And that's what he was when he signed with the Indians way back when.
Colon, 2 years with the A's. He was 28-15. 2012 and 2013, Bartolo Colon. And that one just missed. Called the ball, may have been a strike.
Well, Jed Lowry's got a pretty good eye, and he takes this one, which was close, and that's a strike.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Ted Barrett might be telling the world that he's not a low strike umpire, but that's a pretty good pitch. And remember, when Trevor Cahill takes him out, he's going to want those strikes or those pitches as well because he's a sinker ball pitcher.
Check swing toward Colon. Colon's going to have to hurry. He flips it and he throws it into right field. Martini is going to go to third. Lowry will stay at first, and the A's will have first and third.
Never thought a check swing would result in a runner at first and third and 1 out, but that's exactly what happened. With Jed on the check swing, Bartolo Colon kind of checked up, and he realized he had to hurry and just kind of flipped the ball, and no chance for Guzman to get it, to even knock it down. And now, of course, they're going to try to find out if Jed Lowry was running out of the baseline and forcing that play. That's why Jeff Bannister is out there. But it is the home plate umpire's call. Bannister, a former catcher, that he knew that Barrett was running back like he's going to go for the headphones, but see, Jed actually is inside the line just a little bit, but I don't think it affected him. I think it was just that Bartolo couldn't bend over.
So a base hit and an error. The error allowing Nick Martini to go from second to third, but it is a hit for Lowry. So here's Chris Davis. First pitch to Davis. Shallow right, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Martini will score. Lowry's going to try for third. The throw is not in time. It goes into the dugout, and Lowry's going to score. It's a bit of a circus right now for the Texas Rangers, and the A's lead 2-0. And Bartolo Colon.
And Bob Melvin wants the runner at third base, and that's why he's coming out. And, you know, last night he crushed about 98. This is 79, but hit it softly to right field. And now the umpires are going to check to find out with the ball going into the dugout with the runner going to second base. But the throw from Chu, Colon was not backing up.
Nope.
And as a result, the ball got past the third baseman Profar. And Bob Melvin just checking. And I think the other night when Montas did not back up, they were awarded third base. So Bob Melvin checking to see way offline was a throw from Chu and into the dugout.
So it's 2-0. The Rangers have made 2 errors. And Colon has hit a batter. So here's Matt Olson. This is one of those games, if you're the Rangers, you wish that it was a 7:15 start instead of a 7:05 start.
No do-overs in baseball?
No, there is not. But that's an ugly start for Texas.
It is.
Oh, 2 to Olson. And this one's fouled straight back. Olson at 236. He's got 21 home runs and 50 RBIs.
And I think your point, well taken from the interview last night when you asked Chris Davis about the at-bats other than home runs, and there's a perfect example. First and third, he gets a base hit, and that is a huge hit. It ends up being really 2 runs, driving in one, the other scoring on the error. But bottom line, he took a pitch that was kind of inside at 79 miles an hour, hit it softly to right field. Yeah, home runs are great, but hits like that are perfect.
Foul back again, and the count remains 0-2. And Chris Davis now 78 RBIs. 78. It's pretty impressive. So J.D. Martinez leads the league with 85, but this hot stretch for Davis has him now at 78. Olsen swings and misses. All right, here's our Coors Light refreshing finish, and it was a refreshing finish. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Chris Davis, go-ahead 2-run homer. Second deck, upper deck in right field, really coming down the right field line, and the A's would win the game 6-5. And the dugout was seriously pumped, and how could you not be? You're down to your final strike. So, I mean, and that's an interesting note. 97 miles per hour on the velocity, and that's very, very good velocity. But with Chris Davis, 97 up a little and out a little. He just needs to make contact. Just put the bat on the ball, and it's going to go.
Well, people say, well, he hit behind the ball.
But that's
him.
You want to do that a little bit.
And with his swing, Chris Davis's swing, it's kind of the same. But when he opens up, anything really thigh high and up, he can do what he did to Melanson on Sunday. He can do what Claudio, opposite field here. Of course, the one to straightaway center and the one to right field. Those pitches were all up. And with the exception of even Dirk's changeup that he pulled, everything else was right center to right field. That the ones we showed. How about this? Again, great shot of the fans behind. The A's dugout just quiet. They start to jump up. There's Canna. There goes the rest of the dugout. And then the Rangers fans behind just sat down and said, not again.
So 2-2 to Stephen Piscotty. A couple of runs in for the A's in the very first inning. And there's a base hit left field. Here comes Chris Davis. Here comes Gallo's throw to the plate, and it is there, and they got him. Heck of a throw by Joey Gallo. And it was a very close play at the plate. Here's a look. See if the A's want to take a look at it. Melvin is checking the phone. But it does not look like the A's are going to check it. So the A's get 2 on a couple of hits and a couple of errors. Bottom of the first coming up.
Well, you get some
May
fries.
not have been around in 2017, but that's all right. Here's the starting lineup for the Texas Rangers, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Chu, Odor, Andrus, Beltre, Profar, Gallo, Chirinos, Guzman, and Tochi. That's the Rangers starting lineup. Trevor Cahill ready to go, and he throws the pitch outside to Shin-Soo Choo. Chu, Odor, Andrus, top three for Texas Rangers.
As we mentioned, open Cahill will not take much time as long as the hitter's in or near the batter's box. As Trevor Cahill making the start tonight, his 11th start for the Athletics. He's had some good ones, really not a lot of run support. 5 home runs he's allowed. Good strikeout to walk ratio. And as he talked about, his changeup being a very important pitch for him, as we have seen.
Chu at 284 with 18 home runs. And there's a strike on the inside corner to even the count at 2-2. Chu has 44 RBIs. Slices that one foul. Chu struggling. He's got 1 hit in his last 16 at bats.
Well, if there's ever a time of the hitter struggling opposite field hitting, they're planning him to hit the ball in the air the opposite field, but definitely pull on the ground. And if you want to get out of a slump, going opposite field is the way to do it.
Very close. That should have been a strike.
I think when Cahill got the ball back from Jonathan Lucroy, he thought it. That's even higher than the one that was taken earlier by one of the Athletics.
And he walked him. So Cahill should have had Chu struck out. Doesn't get the call, and now the walk. A's defense has Martini in left, Fowler in center, and Piscotty's in right. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, Olsen on the infield. Lucroy is your catcher. So that'll bring up Rougned Odor. So I read today, Ray, where to have it be an official shift, there has to be 3 infielders on one side of second base or the other side of second base to make it an official shift as far as how they keep the shifts, the statistics about shifts.
So this is a shift.
This would be a shift, yes.
And Chu is a shift, I guess. So, well, it was treated right on Chu.
So even if, say, Marcus Simeon slid over to his left but did not go on the other side of second base, then it would not be a shift. Important stuff nowadays, Ray.
Yeah, well, that's I didn't know that, so I'm glad you brought that up.
I read that somewhere today that
that's an important note, because now we could pay attention. We could jot them down.
I hope the sports writer that had it is correct, because I'm going with it.
Until somebody says they can't do it anymore.
It's just what I read. 0-2 to Odor, 260 with 7 homers, 28 RBIs. Night off for Jonathan Lucroy last night.
So with a second batter, he takes one off his right knee and chest protector.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Said he loves the heat, so he's got it to enjoy. 3 out of the 4 games he's been behind the plate.
And that hit Odor. Odor sprints to first base. So a walk and a hit batter.
Speaking of do-overs.
7:35 first pitch.
Wow. On the right foot. Lucroy went out to block that one as well. So both batters with 2 strikes, 3 and 2, which is questionable on the 2-2. Scott Emerson looking on, and For Scott Emerson, this is a little bit of a tough time. His mother, Pat, his father, Bill, they're down in Arizona, so we wish Pat the best. His mother, who's dealing with some issues, so we wish them the best. And Emo said he's going to be going home on Wednesday after the game.
Okay.
So hope all is well in Phoenix, Arizona. As they're big A's fans watching telecast all the time. Right now, Emo is concerned about his pitcher.
First pitch to Andrus is a strike. As he went to bunt, Andrus thought it was inside.
You know, some would say, I know you mentioned about the shifts, but some would say that if a hitter is bunting for a base hit, why should he be given a sacrifice? And there's a lot of times where you see that. And I think Andrus at that time, when he was thinking about bunting, he was probably trying to drag the ball to get the base hit or at least accomplish.
Chapman has it kick off his glove, and everybody's safe. Tough play. Chapman went for the backhand, and it was hit fairly hard. So it's going to be a base hit, and it should be.
Well, it should have been. It could have been a double, but instead he got the glove on it. But we're so accustomed to seeing him make these plays and maybe turn it into a double play. But there's the hop, short hop, got the glove on it, could not get in front of it, and as a result had to pick the ball up and hold it. You'd probably say he should have caught it and turned a double play, but that's a tough play. He should be happy that he kept it from being down in the corner for a double, maybe 2 runs batted in.
So now Beltre will hit with the bases loaded and nobody out. Beltre 282 with 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in, and he takes a pitch that's just a touch low. Beltre, a couple of hits last night, a double and an RBI. Swing and a miss. Chased a pitch that was on the outside part. On deck is Jurickson Profar. There's the numbers for Beltre against Cahill. 11 for 32 with a couple of home runs. And this one is looped toward right field, and that's going to fall for a hit. 1 run scores. Odor is going to be held at third. So a bloop single into right field, and it's 2-1. So the Rangers have answered right back.
But he just reached for it. There's a changeup, and he got him to reach for it and not hit it deep enough to get it to Piscotty. And fortunately, Odor, who looked like he read it well, was held up at third base, which probably not a bad idea considering still nobody out. Piscotty throws well.
So career RBI number 1,674, getting close to Gary Sheffield. Line drive foul. Jurickson Profar goes after the first pitch and lines it foul. .247, 9 homers, 46 RBIs. Profar playing third base tonight. Another ball pulled foul, and the count 0-2. Well, tonight any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Profar checked his swing. He did not go.
Looked for a good job blocking a ball that was down and in. They were hoping to get the swing, but she did not. A lot of body going forward. Brian Barksdale, third base umpire, no call on the strike.
Odor, Andrus, Beltre, the runners. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Big strikeout.
Stayed soft with him. Wanted it outside, right in the middle of the plate, and there's the 82. Look at the good action on the curveball. And everything, he was out in front on a couple of pitches, maybe the changeup that he pulled foul.
10-4 career record against the Rangers for Trevor Cahill. Not an easy place to pitch here, and he's done well here. Here's Gallo, who lays off the changeup, and it drops down and away.
Odor is not moving from third base because Chapman is playing in the shortstop position, and Odor a quarter of the way down from third base.
He could go halfway.
And he goes.
He really could. I mean,
see where he is, the third base runner, but usually the third base coach. And that's you brought up a good point the other night about you're able to come down that line. Any ball that gets away just a shorter distance from a catcher, he can score.
And now it's 2-0. So that's why the full shift is on. Gallo, probably as much of a pull hitter as anybody in all of baseball. Remember the Houston Astros earlier this year when playing the Texas Rangers used 4 outfielders. They did not have anybody on the left side of the diamond. And Gallo obviously a lot of fly balls, and they put 4 outfielders out there, 3 infielders on the right side, and it worked.
Was that a shift?
That would be a shift.
A big time shift, huh?
And now it's 2-2.
I mean, Odor is amazing. I mean, he's just casually coming down the line and walking back, and I mean, why not? I mean, that's. He's got. That's called no fear because there's nobody close to him.
He's got no reason to be worried about anything.
His third base coach is closer than anybody.
The A's dugout is closer than any A's position player.
That's a great point.
Gallo takes a little bit inside, very close.
Tell you what, Ted Barrett is not helping any pitcher tonight, neither one so far, and it's just the first inning.
Ted must have not seen the temperature at first pitch of 101 degrees.
Look at Odor. I mean,
he's halfway, and now Chapman decides to maybe run over there a little bit. Gallo bounces it slowly. Lowry's got it. Lowry's only play is to first, and Odor's going to come in to score. So Gallo had to put it in play, and he did. And he gets the RBI to tie this game up at 2. So Gallo gets his 56th RBI.
Well, Jed was playing deep, so he had to come in and charge in. Really, the only play was to go to first. And you know, the one thing on the mind of an infielder, he can't go home.
No.
With the runner 45 feet down the line.
So here's Robinson Chirinos. Chirinos, a 3-run home run last night.
You got Cahill here back in April. He made the start of the 23rd.
Swing and a miss by Chirinos.
Well, this is the curveball that Chirinos hit off of Trevor Cahill and stayed on the inner half of the plate. He looks silly on a pitch similar to that, a curveball away from him, but this one left on the inner part of the plate. That was exciting times for the Rangers. That was on April the 23rd, but at least they thought they had a chance, but boy, totally different now. But still playing competitive baseball.
And that one is line foul right over Elvis Andrews, who gets knocked down.
And that's the reason you always run down the line in foul territory. Because if you're in fair territory and you're hit, it's an out. But this one at him, ooh, that was at his head.
Hit it fair.
Fair, you're out of the inning.
O2 pitch is grounded. That's a fair ball. Chapman's got it. His long throw is dug out by Matt Olson again.
Wow.
So the Rangers come right back. They get a couple of runs and a couple of hits. There was a walk. There was a hit batter. So after one inning from Arlington, we get a 2-2 game.
Well, he may go to Denver if the A's win tonight. He'll be the stands in Denver.
It'll be cooler in Denver,
Well,
we are being told, and we're happy about that. Mid-70s in Denver.
I mean, that just looks like maybe that shot was from last night. Looks exactly the same.
So second inning, we get a 2-2 game. It'll be Chapman, Lucroy, and Fowler. It was an ugly first inning for the Rangers. A couple of errors, although both those runs were earned. Is that correct, Ray?
That's what John, our great stat man, told us. They made the change, said both were earned. And one thing, Matt Chapman was not happy with the throw he made that was saved by his first baseman, because went back in the dugout, threw his cap and his glove, and a little bit upset because he caught the ball with Torino's running, figured he had enough time to throw a strike, but he threw a short hop, and fortunately Matt Olson can scoop him.
I bet he was also mad about the play that he knocked down. He probably felt like he should have had it, which would have been a very, very tough play on Andrus. That one is lined left field. Gallo near the wall, and that baby is gone. Just over the wall in left field to give the A's the 3-2 lead.
Well, his launch angle with his home runs, the one he hit a couple of nights ago, the screaming line drive on the cycle with the home runs. Look at the way this ball leaves his bat. 86 sinker disc down towards the middle of the plate. And you run hard because, I mean, he's a very strong man. That ball left his bat very, very quickly and got over the left field fence just as quickly. just barely got over the outfield wall. So Matt Chapman, who went about 5 weeks between home runs, has changed that in this series.
Guzman in front of the seats. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. He had to reach in there. He's very tall, and he used that tall frame to reach into the seats and make the catch. So that's nice play by big first baseman.
A lot of times we'll see a ball on the left side come back. This one just kind of stayed there. Fans let him at least make the play. Not a lot of foul territory here in Arlington.
And here's Dustin Fowler with the AC and all these left-handers in this series. This is the first time Fowler's been in the lineup. Gallo coming in. Gallo waiting. Gallo has it.
Well, the key on the StatCast is we take a look at it. Check the launch angle. Gone. 21 degrees. That's not surprising. 380, 103 off the bat. He had him 115, and he hit a couple of nights ago. That was off his bat.
StatCast AI powered by AWS. So number 12 on the year for Matt Chapman.
Do you think Chapman was talking to Olsen and apologizing to him, or saying this is how Bartolo's throwing? Probably telling how he's throwing, because he makes enough good throws across the diamond. That's rare that he does bounce one.
Martini was hit by a pitch, and he scored a run in the first inning. Get the feeling, Ray, that Bob Melvin was wanting to get Martini a start somewhere.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's good to see him out there.
Well, you know, the one thing that he really likes, and I think the fact that what we've heard about Martini at the minor league level is on-base percentage, consecutive games reaching base. And he's done it here. And I think from the manager's standpoint, especially in a couple of games in which he's come in and the A's have trailed, it's been very important. I mean, last night he walked to get in front of Jed Lowry. Then, of course, Chris Davis with the home run.
Drill to center, and that's going to be a base hit. Tochi was playing over toward left center, so he hustles over there to cut it off. And Martini's on for the second time.
Straightaway center field, and the center fielder has to hustle to get to it. Otherwise, it goes to the wall for a triple. Right back up the middle. Good hitting. A couple of strikes, but got the pitch. And Tochi, I mean, Bartolo Colon's got to be thinking, wait a minute. Where's my center fielder? Oh, he's playing him over at left center. Look where Tochi's playing. This ball shot towards center field. And if Tochi is playing straight up,
it's right to him.
It's right to him, and he doesn't get credit for his shift.
Quick throw, and getting back is Martini. You mentioned Martini's getting on base ability, Ray. His on base percentage this year in Nashville in 73 games was .415.
That's incredible.
Heck, 350 is pretty good.
Absolutely.
Marcus Semien hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning. Marcus is 5 for 17 in this series. Got 3 doubles. He's knocked in 3 runs. A lot of base runners for Bartolo Colon in the first 2 innings. He's thrown 34 pitches. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. So Semien's going to have to kind of battle back against Bartolo Colon.
Now, Martini's got Chirinos worried a little bit. He's thrown once and popped up quickly on the 0-2 pitch, thinking about me running.
Foul straight back.
And if Cologne throws the ball too hard, of course he tops out mid to upper 80s, not really overpowering with his fastball. He does throw a lot of movement. But the one thing about with 2 strikes on Simeon, they are shading him to pull. Of course, in this series, he has already done that. On the right side, you have Odor very close to second base, which opens up the hole on the right side. Marcus has been gone.
Andrus has it. He'll flip to Odor, side retired. Matt Chapman with a home run, his 12th of the year. So bottom of the second coming up. The A's leading the Rangers 3-2. And as we know, anything can happen in this ballpark. And the place where we're going, well, anything can happen there as well. Coors Field. See the Rockies this weekend. That one is driven toward right center field, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Guzman is going to head into second, and he will stop there. Leadoff double. Hey, we had some trade action today around Major League Baseball and some fairly significant names. Let's start with Martin Maldonado. This one caught me by surprise, Ray. The Angels traded the Gold Glove catcher to the Astros. Joaquim Soria goes from the White Sox to the Brewers, the veteran pitcher. And then this is a biggie. Jay Happ from the Blue Jays to the Yankees. So the Yankees, in the span of what, 48 hours, got a pretty good reliever and a pretty good starter. So Jay Happ, the lefty, goes to the New York Yankees. So how about that?
Yeah, a little surprising, but you know, they were talking about Britton going to the Yankees. It said the bullpen might be the best ever. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And now they get a starter, but in order to add 2, they have to delete 2. And
I think they'll be okay.
No. I think they'll be just fine. I think they will be just fine.
Tochi bunts, and it's a good one. So that'll get the runner to third with 1 out. Tochi with the sacrifice.
Trevor Cahill, you'd like to see somebody be given a 2-0 lead. And now 3-2 lead. 2-0 ended up being 2-2. And after the Chapman home run, got a chance, unless he can have a miracle at bat here with Chu. Might be tied. Got him shaking his head a little bit. And really, it's not the heat. Pitched on a regular turn, regular time off. So he pitched against the Giants over the weekend.
So Chu waits. Infield in. And there's a strike. Saw a note on Jay Happ today over the last couple of years, of course, pitching with the Blue Jays. And this had to be attractive to the Yankees, but he has pitched extremely well against the Red Sox.
Well, how to do it.
And you put up good numbers against that lineup, you're doing something. And that's what Happ has done the last couple of years.
And especially as a left-hander against the Red Sox. Of course, remember when Brett Anderson had the shutout against the Red Sox at Fenway, which is very unusual.
One and one the count. Chu walked and scored in the first. Takes a very close pitch.
Well, if he took the one in the first inning, 2-2, this one is about the same. Jonathan Lucroy holding it, but called a ball as it was in the first inning.
Swing and a miss. Now 2-2.
Well, it got him with a good off-speed pitch, and I think from Trevor Cahill's standpoint, to be able to throw this pitch successfully, you got to get swings like that, and he's very confident with his changeup to throw it any time. Would he back it up?
Odor will be next. And that's going to be a little jam shot that gets past Chapman into left field for a base hit, and we're tied at 3. I'll give Chu some credit, Ray. I think he waited a little longer to make sure he doesn't swing at a bad pitch, and then he kind of fights off a pitch on the inside corner.
Chapman that time was even with the bag, with the left-handed hitter, and off the bag, but just in the shortstop position. So there, a shift hurt him with 3 to the right side.
So RBI number 45 for Chu. His second hit in this series. First pitch to Odor is up and away. There's numerous reports going out right now all over social media, and is that Cole Hamels has been traded to the Chicago Cubs. Obviously, there's nothing official on that, and the Rangers have not announced anything. But it's been a hot, heavy rumor all day, and now it's even more hot and heavy, and that's a double play. 3-6-3. Odor thinks otherwise. The A's aren't so sure. They're kind of half-heartedly walking off the field. But it looks like they're going to say he's out, and a very close play. They will not check it. So a run for the Rangers. Third inning coming up, and this game is tied at 3. runs and 9 hits already combined in the first 2 innings. As Jed Lowry will lead things off. Lowry hits one high and deep to right field. Doesn't have enough. Chu near the wall, and Chu up against the wall, and he caught it.
But the wind knocked that down. That was up so high. And of course, Jed had to provide his own power. Off speed, 86, inner part of the plate, and left his bat. Thought it was gone. Especially down towards the corner, kept hooking, but Chu did not give up on it. Right near the wall, and a mini leap, able to bring it back.
So 1 away. Here's Chris Davis. I don't think it would have went out.
No.
Nope, but it would have banged off the top of the wall. Chris Davis had an RBI single in his first at bat. Pretty funny joke going around the Dallas area right now. Ray, you want to hear it?
Is it a knock knock?
No. So what do Jerry Jones and Chris Davis have in common? They both own professional teams here in Dallas.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
I did not make that one up. I read it a couple times, but I thought it was pretty good.
That's a great one.
He does own the Texas Rangers.
Well, the way the Rangers are going, the Cowboys going to get a lot of attention already.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, Chris Davis.
June 6th, this is what Katie did, straight away center. This is off Bartolo Colon. What a shock. It's in Arlington, Texas.
Listen to these numbers, Ray. 25 homers and 57 RBIs in 49 games in his career against the Rangers. 57 RBIs in 49 games. Not that time, though, as he strikes out.
Well, Colon did the best thing, try to pitch him outside, bring the ball back, and it did not come back enough, but it was called a strike. So maybe Ted Barrett has loosened up a little bit.
A little bit of a tough strike zone now.
Very, very tough. I mean, you just really don't know what you've got.
Olsen hits a towering pop-up, shallow right. And Chu grabs it, and that will do it. So Colon has his first 3 up, 3 down inning. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. final trip in this year.
And the hottest day we've had, so it's the final day, right?
Oh, yeah. Rangers will make, well, the Rangers will make 2 more trips to Oakland. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they came the early part of the season.
Right.
April, 4 days in early April.
They'll be in Oakland August 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And then September 7, 8, 9. So heading out our way 2 more times.
Well, if you remember, and I know you do, the A's started the season with 2 4-game series. One against the Angels, one against the Rangers.
That's right.
Well, there's 19 games that each team in the West plays each other, and it's just a matter of 10 in one, 9 in the other. Sure, there are 10 here.
Want to know what Elvis Andrus? He reached for it right toward Lowry in a couple of steps, and that's out number 1.
MLB at Bat is your #1 athletics app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get A's home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Wanted to tell you this, that Matt Vasgersian was saying that
the great Matt Vasgersian.
That's right. On the East Coast, he watches our games, and he said, "Kite, great." He told me that.
What a good guy.
He said that he makes sure those weekend games against the Giants, the Friday, Saturday, he watched the 2 games nighttime, and he said, just got home and just watched those games, and it's great to be on the East Coast, have the MLB at Bat app to be able to watch those games. And he said, you and Kuiper just,
Well, that's very nice of Matt, who's
right.
Bay Area guy and a lifelong A's fan.
And he's not afraid to wear the green and gold.
Nope.
He said that, and I made sure I said it to him, and he said, "Oh, I'll wear it." But no, he just wanted to say that because he said exactly that.
Simeon gets a big hop. His throw in the dirt, dug out by Olsen. So 2-1. I think that was one of those knee to the ground swings, was it not?
Yes, it was. And Beltre, one of the best at doing, going down. It's okay to hit a ground ball to short as long as it's not a home run to left field, but we've seen him do that. But Chuck Morgan in their Diamond Vision, they do a great job, and they just did it prior to it. Well, this inning beginning, they go through the number of hits by various players leading up to Adrian Beltre with 3,120.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very nicely done. And of course, they had the big area in center field where they had the 3,000 hits, had his kids dropping the drape after he got the 3,000, which is totally surprised.
So do you watch the MLB Network like most of the day, like I do?
Well, it's great.
No, seriously.
No, seriously. I mean, I do watch some news, but yeah, this and baseball news is there.
It's kind of fun to get all day baseball to get you ready for the ball game. That's what we do, folks. That's just the way our lives evolve. as a youngster. Man, he could get it up there, huh? 98, 99 miles an hour. Bartolo Colon. Started with the Indians, a little bit of time with the Expos.
See Uncle Charlie there.
Went to the White Sox and then the Angels. Bounced around a lot since then.
And I want to say when he went to the White Sox, 11 different teams that he's run a game, but I remember the White Sox, he threw nothing but fastballs. And of course, the Angels, he signed as a free agent contract, and we saw him with the A's when he threw about 38 consecutive strikes. But he could pitch, and be at his age, a much different type of pitcher than the Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, who pitched to mid-40s. Nolan was still throwing very hard with the fastball, great 12-6 curveball.
He signed with the Indians in 1993. To pitch a fastball 91 miles an hour, so that's a little bit extra from Bartolo Colon, and he strikes out Piscotty. Colon now 45 years old, second oldest player in Rangers history. Nolan Ryan 46 years. There's the final start of Nolan's final season in 1993. So the year that Nolan Ryan finished his career, that's the year that Bartolo Colon entered professional baseball.
And I would think that if somebody gives him a contract, he'll keep playing.
Absolutely.
I don't doubt that he's just going to play and play and play. And I mean, the way he pitches, I think it's great because he's around the plate. And I think Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail realize that if he goes 6, pitch count at 51. So, I mean, that's kind of standard these days for any pitcher.
Hey, listen, if Bartolo Colon is your 5th starter, is that so awful?
No, it's not.
He did not have a good year last year, though. But pretty good seasons before that. Popped up, and that'll be into the seats. 2-2 the count to Matt Chapman, who homered in the 2nd inning.
It's on a 3-1 pitch. It towards the middle of the plate. A line drive, a bullet to left field, just over the out-of-town scoreboard. But you know, we saw Tochi and Rual pitch on Monday, the opener of the series, 2 position players. And the way Bartolo throws with the change of velocity, his is on more of the upper velocity of those position players. That's the lower part, but he can drop down and just accelerated one to Piscotty to strike him out of 91. But it's really a time that you have to be patient as a hitter.
So full count. And that pitch just missed.
Good take by Matt Chapman to make sure that ball, 2-seamer, definitely low. Tola tried to bring it back to the outside part of the plate.
One thing about Colon, he will never overthrow a pitch.
No. He knows his limitations.
Yes, he does.
He knows that, I mean, 91 occasionally, but that's probably top end. And this is smart defensively. Great shot there. Shows Tochi in center field slightly towards right center, but bottom line, you play everybody straight up. And you have this type of a pitcher who changes speeds, does move the ball around. Hard to shift. I mean, if anybody could pitch to a shift, he could, as far as the location of pitches, depending where the defenders are playing.
.56 pitches for Bartolo Colon. He's gone over 100 pitches just one time this year. And this is his 19th start. A little bit closer as Chapman dives back. So you see this with older pitchers, right? A lot of times you get to about 80 pitches and the tank starts to get a little thin. But that helps. Fewest pitches per inning. Cologne averaging 14.9. Sean Manaea leads the American League. Chapman goes. The ball's popped up. Tochi in center. Tochi has it. So Lucroy is retired. 2 away, and here's the 9th place hitter, Dustin Fowler. Fowler hit a fly ball to left field in the 2nd inning.
I think that Bartolo Colon does a lot, and that's throw a lot of fly ball outs, simply because the way he changes speeds. If hitters get fooled, they get out on the front foot, and a lot of times they just an emergency swing, and as a result, it's going to be fly ball pop up. Evidently, Joey Votto did well against him. He
Didn't
never had
pop
a
up. He does not pop up.
Joey Votto chokes up. He waits, so maybe he gets on top of those instead of popping them up.
Fouls that one right back to the screen to even the count at 1-1. The A's will face a left-hander tomorrow night. Kyle Freeland, pretty good young left-hander, will pitch for the Rockies. And then the A's will face a couple of right-handers Saturday and Sunday. Hit hard, fair, down the first base line. Chapman digging for third. Chu picks it up. They're going to wave Chapman home. He's going to score. Fowler's going to go to third with an RBI triple, and the A's lead 4-3.
Amazing speed that Fowler has. Of course, just inside the line. Chapman tremendous speed as well, but Fowler around in second kind of slowed down.
Well, he's turned all the way back to look.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, let Matt Williams be your eyes, and if he's sending Chapman, then you could coast in the third, which he ultimately did. But that was just inside the line. So a huge hit for Fowler.
So 21st RBI for Fowler on the triple. It's his 2nd triple of the year. Well, the bottom of the order gets something going.
Matt Chapman running all the way. He saw the ball was fair, and again, once the ball is hit, you just take off running. The ball was stopped, slowed down. Chu, tough to get to the ball, and so the ball back in, and not even a slide for the slider or the triple by Fowler. Again, Tochi playing over in left center, and Gallo way over in left field. Crawford boxes behind him.
And now 2-1.
Sprinter speed. And as soon as Chapman rounded third, Matt Williams was waving Fowler over to third.
Good swing by Martini. Cologne had a 3-up, 3-down third inning, but again, a lot of pitches in this inning.
Well, the A's have to hope that Cahill, who also had a 3-up, 3-down third inning, just like Cologne, will not give it back up as he has done in the first 2 innings.
Pitch number 20 of this inning. Here it is, and it's a ball. 3-2.
That's caught a pretty good eye. Just wait for it.
That's one way to look at it, right?
Wow. I mean, it's been a curious strike zone tonight by Mr. Barrett. I would not argue with him, but
high and deep, right center field, and that one's off the wall. Bounces back towards center field. Martini headed for third. He's going to stop there, and that's a RBI triple. And now it's 5-3.
He almost had his home run. And again, Cap, another ball where they're shading him to left field. He pulls it to the right center field. Of course, happened to be the deepest part of the park, up against the wall in front of the bullpen. No jet stream. Maybe those fans blowing kept the ball in. You know, if he's running out of the box, that might have been an inside the park home run. He thought he hit it enough.
Well, he also looks back right here.
Yeah.
That I just don't understand that.
But if he's running, I mean, he's not a huge home run hitter, so there's no reason to assume that you've hit one out. If he's running hard, the way that ball caromed off the wall, that's an inside the park home run. But got the runner in anyway, and he's got that much done. But you're right,
back-to-back triples. First career triple for Nick Martini. And that's a shot to left field, and that's a base hit. Martini scores. 6-3, the A's lead.
Almost coming with 2 outs and a 1-out walk that started it. Lucroy on a hit and run, fly ball to center field, and then triple, single, and this one might have been hit as hard as all 3. Listen to this. What a shot by Marcus Semien. Elevated pitch from Bartolo Colon, and Marcus did not let it pass. Martini's still upset that he didn't hit it out. Or maybe he's still upset that he didn't run all the way. Could have had a home run either way.
So here's Lowry, and Lowry takes a pitch that's low. So the A's have now scored 40 runs in this series. 49 hits, 11 home runs. 24 of the 40 runs scored in the 7th inning or later. Yeah, and it has been quite a series. Lowry, a base hit and a long fly ball to right field. That one's hit hard, but right to Andrus. He's going to throw across the diamond toward first base. Side retired. 3 runs for the A's. Bottom of the 4th coming up. A's lead at 6-3.
is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So that's a look outside Globe Life Park. Inside, the A's at it again. The offense rolling, 6 runs and 8 hits through the first 4 innings for the Athletics, so they lead it 6-3. And here's Joey Gallo. Gallo takes inside. Gallo, Chirinos, and Guzman. Gallo, broken bat right up the middle, and that's a base hit. So leadoff single for Gallo. NBC Sports California has compiled the A's top 50 most memorable moments in Oakland. Now we want the fans to pick the most memorable moment. Tonight, Dallas Braden's perfect game in 2010 against Stephen Vogt's walk-off in the 2013 American League Division Series. Fans vote through our A's Twitter poll. Play that wins advances to face the next memorable moment. So again, vote through the A's Twitter poll. Dallas Braden doesn't think we know what Twitter is, but we do, Ray, right?
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, that's beautiful.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We know what all of that is. We actually participate in it, contrary to what some people believe.
Some people?
Oh,
certain people?
Certain left-handed perfect game pitchers. Want to know to Chirinos. Chirinos shows bunt. Chapman playing well back. Chirinos not a guy who's going to bunt a lot. He swings just about as hard as he can at every pitch.
And the A's are hopeful that this is not another one of those innings of the shutdown variety for Cahill, that it doesn't happen, because he's been given a lot of run support, something we talked about at the beginning of the game. He got run support in his first start, but after that, not so much. Tonight, 6 runs.
And now 3-0. Guzman, the on-deck hitter. Well, it has the feel of one of those grinded out nights, does it not?
See, there you show it. 10 runs in the first. It's the first start, and the next 9, just total of 15.
That's in first strike. 91 miles an hour from Trevor Cahill.
And needs one of those Adam ground balls and try to turn a double play.
And that one gets away from the catcher Lucroy. Big turn at second by Gallo, but he's going to stay there. So Chirinos with the walk.
Scott Emerson did not make a trip out last night, and he goes out in this, the 4th inning, and maybe simply to say, hey, your club just scored you 3 more. And I'm always reminded of what the manager of the Twins for many, many years, Tom Kelly, said. Club would score runs, pitcher gave it up, club would score runs. He'd say to the pitcher, you know what? Can't expect the club to score runs all the time. Get the bullpen up. I mean, that's what he was saying. And, you know,
I'll give you one chance.
Exactly. but you know, you just can't keep doing it because your offense isn't always going to score you runs. I mean, just a serious wake-up call, and maybe Scott Emerson was ready to name the right act right there. I mean, he's a veteran pitcher. He knows, but he gets him 3 runs with 2 outs. He retires 3 consecutive last inning, gets a double play with Odor the previous inning to end the inning. And now his club scores 3 and he has the first 2 runners on base.
So here's Guzman, who doubled and scored in the second. Swing and a miss. Chased a pitch that was sinking down and away.
Trevor has 7 ground ball outs in the first 3 innings, so he's doing what he wants to do, and that's strike out batters, which he has 1 of those tonight. Got a good changeup, good sinker, good combination.
Sliced foul, and now he is ahead in the count 0-2, so he can work around Guzman a little bit. He's doesn't have to. Obviously doesn't have to lay it in there. Tochi is the on-deck hitter. Outside. Rangers got 2 in the first and 1 in the second. Cahill had a 3 up, 3 down third inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Guzman cannot get it done.
That's a big strikeout because Tochi bunted perfectly his last at bat. This one, the hard breaking ball down and in, and Guzman maybe trying to tie it with a 3-run shot. A little upset that he swung at ball 3, make it ball 2, but good pitch by Trevor Cahill to get him to swing over the pitch.
So here is Tochi. First pitch just a little bit outside, didn't miss by much. Chu will be next unless Cahill can get Tochi to hit a hard ground ball right at somebody. He drives one to center. Fowler over there though, and Fowler grabs it. So that was a hard hit ball by Tochi.
That ball in the gap, it's a triple and 2 runs.
Yep.
Fortunately, Fowler had him played somewhat perfectly, and the old Adam ball went to Fowler for the second out. Well, you'd have to think as a pitcher, you're always pleading and hoping for run support, and when you get it, you want to make sure you can appreciate it and get the outs. So after 2 reach base, Trevor Cahill now gets 2 outs. There's a guy that does not get a lot of run support, Edwin Jackson. Thanks to Chris Davis last night, he got a no decision.
And Chu has to skip out of the way.
Okay, here's what we have talked about with shifts. Last at bat, Chu hit a ball to the shortstop that ended up being left field with a base hit. They're still shifting him, assuming that was kind of an aberration, but look where Chapman is playing a little bit closer to short, but still far enough away. But we'll have to see in the future if more hitters do that, especially in these situations where, sure, a 3-run home run is great. But with Chu struggling a little bit, he walked, scored a run, singled to his next at bat, driving in a run.
It's Lowry who's playing close to second base, Simeon out in shallow right field. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2.
And I'm always surprised when I see this setup where Matt Chapman, the third base, was well off the line. Good pitch from Trevor Cahill and good changeup, similar pitch that Chu swung at his last at bat before singling. But if Gallo runs, it's very hard for a catcher to throw to a moving target, and that's a long run for Chapman to get to third base.
.65 pitches for Cahill in the 4th inning. Chu takes that one, and that'll get the runners moving. Chu does a pretty good job of working the count.
Well, the second strike was the changeup, and Trevor Cahill tried to go back to the changeup, but overthrew it a couple of times. Last one he bounced.
So Gallo at second, Chirinos at first. They will take off on the pitch. There they go. And it's a swing and a miss. He struck him out. One up and away. And the 2 runners are stranded by the Rangers. 5th inning coming up. 6-3 A's lead.
California is brought to you by Cresco, your #1 choice for tool and equipment rental with 19 stores to serve you in Northern California.
Nice big concourses here at Globe Life Park on another warm night here in Texas. Chris Davis hits a towering fly ball. This one's going to stay in the ballpark. Chu comes in. Chu waits, and Chris Davis is retired. So 1 away. So it sounds like that Cole Hamels deal to the Cubs is all but finished, right? So probably kind of a strange time for Cole Hamels. It's not been officially announced, but I'm sure he knows what's going on.
I think the smiles in the dugout and the handshakes kind of indicated that. But the Cubs today down 2 runs the 9th inning against the Diamondbacks. Got a 2-run home run to tie it, and back-to-back to win it.
Huh.
A walk-off.
Well, the A's traded Jose Canseco when he was in the on-deck circle, right?
Yes, they did. Intentionally. Yeah, at the Coliseum, looked down and said, "Oh, they're not. No, they're not pinch hitting for him. He gone."
Roy Steele maybe said, "Now batting Jose Canseco." What? Well, no. So here's some of the.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good indication. That's not on the last month he's been having. Those handshakes and hugs are not because of that.
So Cole Hamels will be a Cub. Remember, he has a no-hitter in his career, and it was in Chicago.
Yeah, against the Cubs, yeah.
Tochi doesn't see it, and now he does, and he gets over there to make the catch.
Summer Suite Special continues to be the easiest way to get a group of between 18 and 24 people to the ballpark for a fun and affordable night. Lock in a food and drink package with parking and a jersey giveaway, all for one low price. Learn more about the Summer Suite Special at athletics.com/summer. That's athletics.com/summer. What a way to go. Man, a lot of games the month of August. Maybe one of the youngest fans right there.
Up the middle, Andrus, couple steps to his left. So Bartolo Colon bounces back after a 24-pitch 4th inning. He has a 3-up, 3-down 5th. X1 voice remote to get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Kebabs. Or you could just go with the, I was going to say foot-long hot dog, but that's the boomstick hot dog. I want that to be my grill in the backyard. When do we have an off night? Wednesday night after the day game. Simeon has it. Odor hustling down the line, but he's retired.
How do you put that down there? What do you put down? 6-3, shift right?
Well, again, I put down, and I don't think this is the correct official way to do it, but I put down the direction that the ball was hit. And if it's fielded by a person that's in the shift,
that's not,
I would put a line under it. So what I would do there is I go 4-3 because it's at the second base position, but it was fielded by Simeon, so I would put a line, and that line would just indicate to me that it was fielded when the shift was on. That may not make a lot of sense. That's the way I do it. How do you do it? Expertly?
I put 6-3 with shift.
WS?
WS.
World Series?
W.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Now that's normal there. There's your normal defense. That's straight. Even in the outfield, they're straight up.
Well, what's the story you tell about the announcer? What did he write in his book because he didn't see it?
WW. Wasn't watching.
Who did that?
Well, it was I think Scooter. Scooter. Yeah.
Oh, Phil Rizzuto?
Phil Rizzuto. And was it Bill White? Somebody.
Yes, White.
Yeah, because they used to alternate announcers. And, hey, Scooter, what's it say WW? He says, sorry, wasn't watching.
Hey, we've all had a few of those. We try not to miss anything, but we do miss things occasionally. Three and 2 to Elvis Andrus, who is 1 for 2. Taps that one foul. Slowly rolling toward the A's dugout. Astros are not playing today. They just split a pair of games in Colorado. And they will host these Rangers this weekend. So the Rangers will jump on an airplane after the game, just like we will. They have a much shorter trip than we do. They are just headed to Houston. Well, Andrus good take there, and he's got a 1-out walk. So 3 walks for Cahill. Again, it'll be the Astros and the Mariners next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll be back home. That'll be a good series for us to keep a close eye on.
And that will be the same time zone because the A's be at the Coliseum up in Seattle. That because you can watch the out-of-town scoreboard. Be a lot of fun.
We're going to do it. Astros in the month of July, 12 and 7. So that is what's coming up for the first place Astros, who have the 5-game lead over the Mariners, 6.5-game lead over the A's.
And with the acquisition of Maldonado, you have to wonder about Brian McCann. If he's going to make it back or how quickly, or because Max Stassi has been doing a good job. Of course, you have Evan Gattis as a third catcher necessary.
So 0-1 to Beltre. Andrus has a pretty good lead, and it's low. No, we were talking about all the August home games, Ray. Well, it's a great stretch coming up. Look at that when we get home. Blue Jays, Tigers, Dodgers. And then we go to Anaheim for three. Right back home for Mariners, Astros, Rangers. How about that?
That's a good month.
That is a good month. There's a shot to center. Fowler cannot get it. It trickles behind him, and Andrus is going to hustle over to third. Fowler almost made a very nice play. Just missed it.
Well, fortunately got a glove on it too. Otherwise, it's going to roll to the wall. But charging in, went down, almost made the play, but at least kept it close, keeping Beltran first. That's how close it was, just in front of his glove. But as he closed the glove, hit it, the ball hit on the edge to keep it close.
So the Rangers have runners at the corners and 1 out. So 6 hits now for Texas. They've stranded 4 in the first 4 innings, including a couple last inning. They got their first 2 runners on last inning, but could not score.
And the A's would take either one of the at-bats by Profar, strikeout or a 4-3, which strikeout would be great. 4-3 could be a double play.
Profar takes high. Pitch number 80 coming up for Trevor Cahill. Emilio Pagan is the A's reliever that's just now starting to throw. Line drive right center field base hit that could be trouble. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Andrus scores. Beltre, he's being waved home. And the throw is going to go to third, and Profar is safe. 2-run score, 6-5.
And that quickly a 1-run game. That quickly a changeup left up and smoked to right field. And well, Beltre wasn't running that great to first base, but he ran well enough to score with the ball into the right center field gap. Profar right behind him, going all the way to third base. And fortunately for Cahill, that ball was caught, because you can see him walking up the foul territory. He did not back up, and the infield has to play in.
And Gallo is the hitter. Gallo an RBI ground out and a single. And it's a high pop-up left center. That's Martini coming in. Martini makes the catch. Profar comes all the way down the line and then sees the ball being cut off and does the right thing by staying at third. So Gallo cannot get the job done. Huge out.
It's a very big out, and from an outfielder standpoint, being able to really, right now, it's dark enough as Pagan is getting loose. Trevor Cahill would love to get through this inning, hyperventilating a little bit. Just think in a National League park, you'd have to be hitting and running, or at least walking. But it's a warm night again. But after that pop-up, a very high pop-up, Melbourne hoping to get the third out, still with the lead.
So now Cahill has to get Robinson Chirinos. Chirinos, a ground out and a walk so far. And that one's hit high to left down the line. Martini over near the seats, and it's into the seats. So a very long foul ball.
Look of frustration on Cahill's face, probably because it's a 1-run game, but also Chirinos taking a little extra time getting in the box.
Cahill generally pretty fast
Yes,
worker.
he is, yeah. And that's
Chirinos does take quite a bit of time.
Well, that's why Cahill was ready, and then that look like get the box.
I would say the Rangers as a group, one of the slower teams as far as getting into the box and getting ready to hit. Swing and a miss. Swung over top, and now it's 2-2.
Well, I think a lot of times they have to take time to be able to swing hard.
Well, if you don't believe us, let's just watch Chirinos.
Well, that was a 2-1. You could say, okay, but he has one swing. And a lot of the Rangers have the same type of swing, and that's why, from a pitcher standpoint, if you can miss the swing, that's good.
Swing and a miss. He chased a pitch in the dirt. And Lucroy's throw to first is in time. So 2 runs for the Rangers. And we're on to the 6th inning. 6-5, A's lead.
Since that memorable fall classic. Be part of history again when the boys in blue come north to the Bay for a 2-game series starting Tuesday, August 7th. It's at 7:05 p.m. Make sure you grab your tickets for this series right now at athletics.com/California. That's athletics.com/California. 2 games. The Dodgers will be at the Coliseum. And it's been a while.
There they are.
Yeah, they are a dynamic duo.
The old lefty and the old righty. That one is going to roll for a while. Chapman hits the bag at first. Chapman to second. Chapman's going to try for third. Here comes the throw, and it's not in time. A triple for Matt Chapman.
About 3 in 1 game. That's unusual, isn't it? Wow.
Well, my guess, Chapman was running hard out of the box. Yeah. Yes, he was.
Yeah. And it's a perfect spot we see in right center. Left center, you don't see as much. But watch him go because he can run hard. I mean, just watch the hands. I think he's okay, but the 2, I'm about to go for a 3. And of course, it's on his own just because the ball was in front of him.
That's the way you leave the box.
That's exactly right. I mean, you know you don't have a home run. So you go, and especially if the ball is in front, you can gauge your own speed and the arm strength of the outfielders and Fortunately, when Profar was at third, he wasn't able to handle it.
So infield in, see if LaCroix can get him home. A little pop up. And that's not going to get it done.
Well, time now for the Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Something you don't see that often. Back-to-back triples. This going down the right field line. Justin Fowler with a triple. And then Nick Martini thought he'd hit a home run that close to being one, but instead he gets to third and said, how did that not go out? But it didn't. And there's your T-Mobile Built for Baseball. The A's still trying to get Chapman in from third. Lucroy could not do it.
So see if Fowler can. First pitch is outside.
Chirinos came up ready to throw to third base, but the thing that Chapman did, we saw Elvis Andrus almost get his head taken off with the ball, but Chapman came down the line in foul territory. As he went back to third, he spun around, his back was in fair territory. That's what you do as a base runner, because once the ball passes the plate, don't have to worry about being hit. But you do not also want to give the catcher a clear shot to third base, try to pick you off.
So now 1-2. Fowler has to put it in play.
Well, you have the speed at third, so it does not take a deep fly ball for him to score. But putting in play is the key. Usually putting in play center field, left field. That way you don't roll over and hit a weak ground ball to the right side.
Just missed inside, so you can see what Cologne is trying to do. He may go back in there.
Yeah. This ball with Chirinos set up inside, he tried to bring the two-seamer back. He does that and gets the ball thrown at the right hip of the left-hander. Go back outside now. Means that was a sign given by Chirinos.
Pop-up foul into the seats down the third base line. Nice play.
Bring your glove, you
Yeah.
never know. How about that? I think he's eventually going to go back inside, trying to bring the two-seamer back. Not this time.
Odor scoops it, and Odor is going to have Chapman in a rundown. He's going to run right at him. Now Profar. And Profar is going to tag Chapman.
At least a good enough rundown that Fowler was able to get in scoring position. Not at third base, but he's going on contact. He was. And instead of running into and out and Fowler having to stop at first, at least he saw Profar was there. Profar did the best thing running at him. But all the while, with this rundown, Fowler was able to get into scoring position. And as when Ted Barrett called him out really for dunking, he really didn't go that far out of the baseline. But I guess the attempt of going down right there to get out. Or maybe tag him. He did tag him. Thank you, Claire.
So now 2 outs. See if Nick Martini can get a base hit. Good night for Martini. Hit by pitch, single, triple, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. And the first pitch is off the plate. Pagan's been out there for a while. And it is 100 degrees. He's loose.
Yeah. Well, the guys in the bullpen, and fortunately for them, it's been 4 night games. Because for them, they say it's a sauna right now, and this is night.
So 2-0 the count. Well, it would have been interesting if one of the games in this series would have been a day game. And they had a day game on Sunday.
Yes, it did.
And it was very much the same kind of weather as we've experienced. Outside, 3-0.
Almost like he's not pitching to him.
Simeon is the on-deck hitter.
Simeon hit one of the 3 2-out hits in the 4th inning, accounting for the 3 runs the A's scored.
Pours that one in there at 88 miles an hour. Speedy Fowler at second base. And the pitch is outside. So Nick Martini on base for the 4th time in this game. Hey, 3 triples tonight. Last time the A's had 3 triples in a game, April 16th of 2013. Crisp, Donaldson, Sogard. Good names from the past. Coco Crisp, long time with the Athletics.
Coco's out of baseball.
He's out.
Donaldson's hurt.
Battling through those injuries.
Sogard was DFA'd by the Brewers.
Yeah, he was, and that's a surprise.
Yeah.
I guess.
Had a great year last year.
Yeah, last year, but not so much this year. Surprised that somebody wouldn't pick up Eric Sogard.
So Marcus Semien can do the same as he did last at bat. Hammer the ball to left field for a single.
And that pitch down and away. So Bartolo Colon now at 91 pitches. Little pop up. Looks like he's going to get out of it. Andrus has it, and the A's strand a pair. They cannot get the leadoff triple home. 6-5 game, bottom of the 6th coming up. A's 6, Rangers 5, bottom of the 6th inning. A's trying to finish off this 4-game sweep. See if they can do it when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So coming in here in the bottom of the 6th is Emilio Pagan. Pagan pitched on Monday night.
He's up twice last night.
He was up twice last night. Yeah, you're right. So 86 pitches for Trevor Cahill in his 5 innings of work. He had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. That was the 3rd. So here's Pagan. Last night, the A's bullpen, terrific. 4 2/3 innings, no runs, just 1 hit and 8 strikeouts. You always want to give the MVP of the game to one guy, and obviously Chris Davis deserved it last night, but the bullpen is always the easiest thing to overlook, especially in a game like that. But terrific job last night, really, like it's been all year. Sliced foul into the seats.
The bullpen basically, whenever they have been used a lot, they've really given the A's an opportunity to come back and win games. And you combine with the offense and scoring runs, but you're right, the pitching has done an exceptional job to make sure the offense, the game that Martin Perez pitched in Oakland, thinking about that game, the A's were down by 1 in the 9th inning. Chu had a 2-run home run. And there's your difference between 1 and 3.
Watch this, A's fan. Yep. You think the A's are hot right now, man. Welcome to the Beast Bay. Sleeves are up, huh?
That's no Michael Zagaris.
Nice play. Two to Guzman. Got him swinging. Guzman strikes out for the 2nd time.
Trevor Cahill's last batter was a strikeout by Chirinos with a run at 3rd. Good breaking ball from Pagan. And really, as much as he was up last night, he did not have to throw much tonight. He was up a couple of times, had a lot of ice on his shoulder, but good to see him available to come back tonight. Because the one thing that counted are the ups in the bullpen, and that's why manager, pitching coach, they get somebody up, they usually like to bring him in, because to sit down and then get back up is not something they want.
Tochi has a sacrifice, and then he hit a ball hard to center field that was caught. Mariners are off today. They will be in Anaheim to take on the Angels this weekend. So both the Mariners and the Astros taking the day off. We mentioned the Astros July record of 12-7. The Mariners in July 8-10, and the Athletics in July 14-5. So you can see why the A's have been able to make up quite a bit of ground on the Mariners, and a little bit on the Astros.
Well, the A's have had 4 consecutive winning months.
Yep. 15-14 in May, 17-10 in June, and then the month of July. So improvement each month.
From another fastball. That's 2 after falling behind 3-0. Pagan throwing a couple of fastballs to Tochi. Tochi taking both of them.
Strike 3 called. Tochi took 3 straight So he strikes out, 2 away.
Well, he thought it was ball 4, but this time Ted Barrett giving the call to the A's because that's one that early in the game was called a ball. Ted Barrett got it. He just wanted a fist bump. That's it's a big strikeout, especially getting 2 in Guzman and Tochi before top of the batting order.
First pitch to Chu is driven to left center. Fowler's going back. Fowler near the wall, and it bangs off the base of the wall. Chu hustling for second. He's got a sliding 2-out double.
Well, that's why getting the 8th and 9th place hitters out before the top of the batting order. Chu going opposite field as he did earlier in the game to get a run. This time the 94 fastball outside. Off the left center field wall. Really, Fowler thought maybe he had a chance to get it, but he just kept carrying to left center.
So he is the tying run here in the bottom of the 6th, and now Odor will hit. So 9 hits for the A's, 8 hits now for the Rangers. Rangers, a couple of errors in the very first inning. Swing and a miss. Odor was hit by a pitch and scored in the first, hit into a double play in the second, and grounded out in the 5th. Nice block by Lucroy. The crowd tonight, 20,533. And the Rangers for the season are averaging 27,377. We have not seen crowds that big in this 4-game series. Odor with a good swing. Last year the Rangers averaged 30,960 per game. So down about 3,500 a game, which is no surprise. They're struggling with a 42-61 record. Pop up. That'll reach the seats.
There are not many pop-ups that stay in play. Nope, behind the plate. There's just so little foul territory anymore. It's the Coliseum with the diamond level seats. You have people that are close. The back railing very close to home plate.
And he got him swinging. So 3 strikeouts and a double. So Pagan, Strange Chu at second base. A's leading 6-5 as we head to the 7th.
Emilio Pagan, strikeout number 1 on a breaking ball, strikeout number 2 on a fastball, strikeout number 3, breaking ball. And Emilio Pagan, that's a good inning after the double, tying run. Pagan acknowledging the play made by Fowler, getting the ball back in, keeping the runner at second base. So Emilio Pagan, who pitched last night a full game in the bullpen, gets a good inning tonight.
And Bartolo Colon stays out there. He'll face Lowry, Davis, and Olson top of the 7th inning. First pitch is grounded right to Odor. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, what he did the last inning, Bartolo Colon, with leadoff triple, 3rd triple for the A's tonight, but yet did not score. And I think what's happening, Kai, he's going to keep running out there. I don't know that. Of course, Jeff Bannister has to be happy that a starter is going deep in a game. Does have somebody warming up the bullpen, and it's Claudio. But I think they're trying to give him every opportunity they can to take a lead and have him be the at least pitcher of record on the winning side.
3 strikeouts and 2 walks for Bartolo Colon. Did you see what Elvis Andrus said about Chris Davis? He was quoted as saying about Chris Davis and hot hitting. He said, quote, "He's destroying our pitchers. The smart thing for sure would be not pitching to him in those situations, send him to first base, and take care of the next guy," end quote.
Whoa, what a concept. Thank you for not doing it. Because I think there are a lot of people think of that, like all the scouts in the press room. But they pitch to him, throw him a mistake, and he hits it. Actually accounted for, I mean, all 6 runs last night with 2 outs, but KD, the 2 home runs, accounted for 5 of those 6 with 2 outs.
So 2-2 the count. RBI single, strikeout, fly ball to right field for Chris Davis so far tonight. That one a little bit high, full count.
It's not going to be a 4-seam fastball, would not think.
He reaches for it. It's a very high pop-up. Davis has homered in 4 straight for the first time in his career. 6 homers in 4 games. Mark McGwire, only players in Oakland A's history to have that. 6 straight games against the Rangers. Griffey did it 7 times. And there are the career numbers against the Texas Rangers. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. 2 away in the 7th.
Did not give in. Paint with the 2-seam back door. And that KD in a second at bat, very similar, is called by Ted Barrett. At least this was a little bit closer to the plate.
So 2 outs, and here's Olson. All of a sudden, the strike zone's getting big. Olson has struck out and hit a couple of fly balls, so he's 0 for 3 tonight. Three for 18 in the series. See, if you look, Ray, Elvis Andrus is playing pretty much right behind second base, but he's really not on the right side of second base.
What does that mean?
Profar is playing the shortstop spot. So I guess this would not be a shift.
According to what you read today.
According to what I read today.
Yeah. So that
looks like a shift to me.
Yeah. Especially with nobody close to third base.
So full count to Matt Olson. Olson hits it hard. Guzman gets a good hop. So Bartolo Colon with a 3-up, 3-down, 7th inning. We have reached the 7th inning stretch. A's hanging on 6-5.
By Cycle Gear Championship of Sonoma. Don't miss the U.S. Championships of Motorcycle Road Racing at Sonoma Raceway, August 10th through 12th.
There's a beautiful look at Globe Life Park. Bottom of the 7th. The A's bullpen is going to have to do their thing again. They got a good inning from Pagan, and now it's Lou Trevino's turn. So when it is time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Trevino comes in for his 40th appearance. Trevino pitched last night. He's got that look like he doesn't really like this hot weather very much.
Well, I asked the skipper. Remember when Bob Melvin and one of the trainers went out?
Yeah.
It was simply because of the run from the bullpen. I mean, it's hot.
It is.
You know, and
I can see it.
He said, let me just catch my breath. And, you know, one of the things that we see that clock, and a pitcher, when he comes out of the bullpen, is not guaranteed. He can throw 15 if he does it within the time allowed. But he can also throw 4 or 5. Last night he only threw 4. So it was cut short in what he was able to throw.
0-2 to Elvis Andrus.
Thanks to Chris Davis last night, Trevino got his 7th win. Or was it 8? Got another win, I know that. His 8th, thanks to that. We had 7 and 1 going in.
Emergency swing, foul back. 100 miles an hour from Trevino. Well, could this be the night, Ray, where it goes Trevino, Familia, Trinan?
Yep.
It's possible.
I think if it stays 1 run, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Trinan has pitched in the last 2 games.
Not a lot of pitches, though.
Andrus just barely got a piece of that one. Beltre to follow, and then Profar here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Center field off the end of the bat. Fowler hustling in and makes the catch. So 1 away here in the 7th.
I'd say for Lou Trevino, talk about a part of the batting order in a save situation. I mean, he's got the middle 3, 4, and 5 that he has to deal with, at least those 3 to start the 7th inning.
First pitch to Beltre is a little bit outside. So 1-1 the count to Beltre, who has got a couple of hits tonight. He's 2 for 3 with 2 singles, an RBI, and a walk. Strike down around the knees at 100 miles an hour.
If they didn't have the radar guns, you'd never know that he's throwing that hard.
No, it's an easy.
Yeah, I mean, you just would never know. And you got to be going back and said it just does not seem like he's throwing that hard.
Sounded inside to Beltre.
Dancing for Beltre with the pitch inside.
So 2-2 now.
Whoa.
Well, Beltre was fooled. I don't think there's any question about that. The pitch worked its way off the plate.
Well, he's definitely buckled his knees, and it's too bad it wasn't on the corner, because he definitely, when a hitter buckles like that, he's done. He cannot do, well, I would say Beltre is a rare exception, all that.
Jam shot foul. So good battle here between Trinan and the future Hall of Famer Adrian Beltre. Got him swinging. So 2 away.
Fans, Monday, July the 30th, when the A's return home, it's another rapid deal day. Grab a $15 lower level ticket presented by Bartable. Grab a lower level seat versus the Blue Jays for $15 by going to athletics.com/rapid. Offer subject to availability, can change at any time. Be sure to sign up for Athletics alerts to know about the next offer. Visit athletics.com/rapid today. Here are your deals. They've got them.
So 2 outs for Jerks and Profar.
Great baseball at an affordable price. Can't beat that.
Profar tonight is 1 for 3. He had a big hit, a triple in the 5th inning that knocked in 2 runs.
A's do play the Yankees in September. They play the Blue Jays next week, so Jay Happ will not pitch against them. With the Blue Jays could possibly, as a member of the Yankees, when they come to the Coliseum.
Jay Happ.
There are some pitchers like Hand, who went to Cleveland. The A's are finished with the Tribe, so they don't have to see him again. Well, they won't see him. Eovaldi with the Red Sox, and
that's right. He pitched well against the A's.
Yes, he did. And the A's will go to St. Pete in September.
So 2-1 the count to Profar.
Profar had to feel like he was hit, even though he wasn't. And considering where the location of that pitch was, he has to be extremely happy he wasn't. So that would have been in the rib cage.
Hit foul. The Red Sox lost tonight and the Yankees won. So the Yankees pick up a game. They're 4.5 back in the East. Yankees beat Kansas City 7-2. And the Twins beat the Red Sox 2-1 at Fenway. So the Yankees, they don't want anything to do with the wild card game.
Nope.
They're 2-2 to count. The wild card game, the thing you really don't want, but if you have to take it, you will.
Well, yeah, if you're in a position that's your only opportunity, you'll definitely get to postseason.
But you try so hard to avoid it.
I mean, it's a difference of one game, and you hope for 5 versus 5 for sure, or at least a 5-game series for sure.
Full count to Profar.
Last time the Hayes played was the play-in game in Kansas City in 14.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either. No, I don't either.
Payoff pitch. Another ball hit hard, but foul. So 19 pitches in the inning for Trevino.
You know, like Cahill in the 5th inning, it's kind of, got it out because this may be it. Pretty good chance it will be. And I think to your point about the way it's set up, if the A's can retain this lead, they'd have the 3 you mentioned. This is a critical pitch.
And it's well off the plate, and Profar has a pretty good at-bat against a very tough reliever in Trevino. So with 2 outs, a base runner for the Rangers.
This was a straight fastball. I mean, it was a bullet. It was in June, on June the 5th. So maybe that's what the conversation was about with Jonathan Lucroy, forgetting about getting permission to go to the mound. He went there anyway. More than anything, just to settle him down after the good at bat by Profar.
Ray, Profar is 8 for 8 in steals, so that becomes a possibility.
Well, also look where the defense is set up. You're going to have to beat Lowry close enough to second if he does take off.
Gallo with a mighty swing and a miss.
I don't know that they'd want him to run, considering this guy with one swing of the bat, and you take a chance of being thrown out and take the bat out of Gallo's hands. So we'll see what Jeff Bannister does decide. But you're right about Profar with a good speed.
Gallo takes a little bit outside. Usually, Ray, you would say, well, get the guy to second. I mean, you're going to get more singles than you are home runs. For Joey Gallo, well, he's got 25 home runs. He's got 25 singles.
Yeah. And Chirinos, I mean, if you decided you wanted to walk him, you have Chirinos there on deck.
Yeah.
So it's let him go.
Runner bluffs going as Profar took a couple steps towards second base and then stopped.
And again, the important thing here for Gallo, it's a left-handed hitter. Because with that bluff, you don't want to see it with a right-handed hitter.
Not running. And it's low, and now the count is full.
Lucroy came out like he thought he was going to be running and stayed down low enough to it didn't block Ted Barrett. Lucroy asking if he wanted Profar to be held on. And they are going to, especially with the shift. Throw a hard breaking ball, you might get it.
There he goes. And he missed outside.
Well, they are going to have a runner at second with Chirinos.
So a couple of long at bats by Profar and Gallo end up in walks.
Well, he went 3-2 to Beltre, struck him out. 3-2 to Profar and to Gallo, walked him. So that's why he has 26 pitches with runners at first and second. Looks like this conversation is more to Lucroy about how they're going to pitch versus to Trevino.
So here is Chirinos, 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Both runners run well, and Lucroy is out in front to give them a sign about where he's going to throw. And Gallo is getting a big enough lead off first. He could run, and if Profar decides to steal or try to steal.
First pitch, lined foul. Wow. When you're hot, you're hot.
Hook, and it does. Looks like there, if it's straight down, it's fair, but just foul. And the security guard getting out of the way with the chair just in case, but it was just foul. But there's your breaking ball first pitch. And he's sitting fastball. Got the breaking pitch, but it was enough of the plate that he was able to make contact.
So 0-1 the count. Trevino got Andrus on a fly ball to center, and then Beltre on a strikeout. He was kind of cruising along, but now he's at 28 pitches. 12 balls and 16 strikes for Lou Trevino. Swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour. Chirinos is 0 for 2. Ground out, walk, and strikeout. He strikes out a ton.
And really, that kind of a swing, you're probably helping him if you throw something off speed, which in case of Trevino, his off speed is not that much lower than his fastball.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out 98 miles an hour. So Trevino works his way out of the jam. A couple of runners stranded, and we are moving to the 8th.
Brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Six-5 A's leading the Rangers, top of the 8th inning. They'll be heading out of town and headed to Denver after the ball game. If the A's will have their 6th consecutive win in the books. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Alex Claudio takes over. Claudio pitched on Monday. He pitched last night. So we will see him for the 3rd time in this series.
And he's the type of pitcher that really doesn't throw hard, so you assume, although, as even Charlie Huff, through the great knuckleball, said, hey, I have to ice too. I throw hard enough to have to ice. Claudio does not throw hard. You have to be patient.
Piscotty is 1 for 3. So Bartolo Colon ends up going 7 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs. He throws 106 pitches. That's a season high for him. Big chopper. Andrus charges on the run, throws to first, 1 away.
Well, there's part 2 of your scenario. That's Familia, who A's acquired from the Mets. He's pitched 4 innings. He's picked up 2 wins. Marcus Jensen telling him who he's going to be facing. Cup, you talked about the Hall of Fame career of one Adrian Beltre.
Yes.
Big weekend this weekend.
Yes.
It's the Hall of Fame induction and a huge class of inductees.
Who do we got? Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah. Ed Vlad Guerrero.
Guerrero.
Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones.
Jim Thome.
Jim Thome.
Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman.
Jack Morris.
Jack Morris.
And then
That it?
Bob Costas from the.
Bob Costas is going. Alan Trammell's going in.
Thank you, Delaire. It's a whole bunch.
Drive to center and diving attempt past Tochi all the way to the wall. Watch Chapman go. Hits the bag at second. Speeding around second into third, and he's going to have a triple. Second triple of the night for Chapman. 4th triple for the A's. If you dive, you better catch it.
Took the words right out of my mouth. But Chapman's done a great job because, again, ball not thrown that hard, but Tochi right there thought he had it. It bounced a couple of feet in front of him. And once that happens with the speed of Chapman, who's running out of the box fast as always, and he coasted from second to third. Once he knew right there, he just kind of shut it down. Looking at the dugout, and he said, I've been here before, guys. Get me in this time. They did not in the 6th inning.
So the A's have a new Oakland record with their 4 triples tonight.
It's been a great night for Matt Chapman, including 2 of those 4. Home run, a walk. Probably still upset that he didn't turn a double play on the ball. That was to his right. It's a big run the A's need.
So Lucroy now behind in the count, 0-2. Lucroy has gone hitless tonight. He's 0 for 3. He's fouled out to the first baseman Guzman twice.
On the outfield, playing very shallow. I mentioned Chapman with the speed. He's had enough time with these 2 pitches and now the step off and step out to catch his breath.
Poke to right. Coming in is Chu. Chu has it. Chapman tags. The throw to the plate. Not in time. And the A's get an insurance run at 7-5.
Chu lost it in the lights momentarily. Just enough that he could not get behind the ball. Chapman very smartly going back to the bag to tag. Jonathan Lucroy got him in. But that one little drop by Chu looked like the ball got in the lights. And with a line drive, this is going to be tough to score him otherwise. But watch Chu right there. He goes down and got caught flat-footed. Still a strong throw, but not enough time to get the Speedy Chapman.
So Lucroy gets his 33rd RBI.
That's a big run. Huge run.
41 runs scored in this series by the A's. So Canna's going to pinch hit here for Fowler.
I think Bob Melvin's hoping that Canna can do what he's already done a lot this year, and that's hit home runs against lefties.
Fowler, while he was in there, went 1 for 3. He had that RBI triple in the 4th inning, and then he scored in that inning.
That probably was the biggest inning, all that coming with 2 outs. Strikeout, walk, fly ball to center, and then 3 consecutive run scoring hits.
Canna goes after that slow breaking ball, 77 miles an hour.
I think one thing that the skipper is showing at Mark Canna, pinch hitting for a natural center fielder, is that he has the confidence of Canna to go into center. If he does go, Martini, I guess, could go. But bottom line, taking your center fielder out of the game, which shows a lot of confidence in this guy at the plate.
Well, he's done a good job at center field.
Great job. It's Fowler, who started and hit 9th, so really a couple of leadoff hitters with Fowler 9th, Martini at the top of the order. Wow, this is impressive for Matt Chapman. The StatCast, look at off the bat, 115 miles per hour, hit distance 319, and ill-advised dive by Tochi to allow Chapman with his speed to get to third base, and then the sac fly. He's young.
He looks tired, though.
Yeah, no, but he's young. These guys love to win.
Chu goes back. Chu makes the catch. Side retired. A's get an insurance run here in the top of the 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 7-5 A's.
Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
All right, game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 7-10-0 for the A's, 5-8-2 for the Rangers. Trevor Cahill got through 5. Bartolo Colon got through 7. Big night for Matt Chapman. Homer, 2 triples and a walk. So he's been running around all over the place. In fact, the A's 4 triples tonight. So they are trying to finish off the 4-game sweep of the Texas Rangers. Jerry's Familia comes in. So there's his combined numbers when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and brake experts. So Familia will face Guzman to lead it off. Canna stays in the game in center field. Guzman, double and a couple of strikeouts. First pitch is a strike. Backhanded, dropped by Olson, and Guzman's going to be aboard. So Olson on a backhander, just could not secure it. Guzman's aboard.
This is unusual.
Looking for their third 4-game sweep this season. They did it at Toronto. They did it at Detroit. Last time they did that, you got to go back to 1981. Last time they swept 3 4-game series on the road, 1928. How about that?
And Calhoun's going to pinch hit for Tochi, the left-hander.
So it was ruled an error on Matt Olson.
That's why it's unusual to see him miss a ball.
Yeah, he doesn't miss much of anything over there. So Willie Calhoun is the pinch hitter. Calhoun hitting for Tochi. There's a strike on the outside corner. Calhoun has homered in this series.
The one thing the error and the runner first base does, it creates the hole between first and second. Olson has to hold the runner at first base, and the way Familia pitches, just hope that Calhoun does not get out in front and pull the ball into the right side.
And he shoots one to left center field, and that's a base hit. So an error and a single, and here come the Rangers again.
Only this time it's with nobody out instead of 2 outs, as was the case last inning. 99 outside but elevated, and Calhoun no chance, no thought about trying to pull a pitch like that, and went with it the other way.
So now to be Chu, Odor, and Andrus. Well, the Rangers got a 2-out double in the 6th, could not score. They had a couple of walks in the 7th, they could not score, and here in the 8th they get their first 2 runners aboard. Chu swings and misses. Chu has walked, singled in a run, struck out, and doubled. So 2 for 3. He's been on base 3 times. Guzman and Calhoun aboard for Texas. Looked like Chu went around. Yes, he did.
I don't know if that look is upset with Lance Barksdale or at himself for offering out a pitch out of the strike zone. Just enough the bat hit. You're right, Kate.
So 0-2. just got a piece of it. But Familia, you look at him, he's an imposing guy out there. He's a big fella.
He is big.
Stand up close to him. He was on the announcer's bus yesterday. And he is a big fella. That's the late bus. Anybody's allowed to take
That's
it,
right.
but it's usually just us announcers. Foul back. You know what's great about the announcer's bus too, Ray, is it gives all of us announcers a chance to really talk it out and really go over the scouting reports for the game. Throw some ideas out there. It's really like a production meeting almost.
Or check out all the social media.
Well, it's just, you know. See what Vince and Roxy, see, that's what we do on the bus. We talk it over. We look at tendencies. Another 0-2, and Chu just checked his swing that time. That's Jake Diekman. He's the lefty.
Evidently, Keona is not available tonight. Again, after throwing 40 pitches Tuesday night, had the ball go off his hand. As Pirates interested in him, as we mentioned last night, there was some talk about Pirates and Keona Keller.
Keone Kela may not be a Ranger for much longer. And you know what? That's not a bad arm to get. He did not pitch well here the other night, but he had a pretty good year. Two and two the count. And now that one's in the dirt. Doesn't look like the Rangers have any intention of going quietly.
No. Right. Good block. And there's your splitter. Would not offer at it. And Jonathan looked for a good job blocking to keep the runners at first and second instead of second and third.
So full count. Familia. And roll foul. Chu will make you throw strikes.
And you're right, surprisingly, he struck out on the fastball. That was from Cahill in the fourth inning.
Odor waits in the on-deck circle. Full shift on for Chu. Strike three called on the outside corner.
Chu was headed to first, thought he had drawn the walk. Ted Barrett, and it might have been down in that lower part of the strike zone. And remember, the first batter of the game. Oh, that's plenty of the strike. Chu walked on the 2-2 pitch. That was strike three, but was called a ball. He ended up walking on the next pitch. This time, though, have a pitch in the outside corner, and enough that Ted Barrett liked it.
So here's Odor. Odor 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the first inning. Swing and a miss. Down and in. Well, if you're trying to come back and you're the Rangers, getting the 8th and 9th place hitters on with nobody out is not the best setup that you can get. But Chu struck out. Now Odor down 0-1. And now he's down 0-2.
And Camp, I think tonight's proven again the lost art of bunting. First and second, down by 2. I mean, granted, Chu is a good on-base percentage guy, but you know, it's just something that you don't see. And I thought the comment was made when Maldonado was traded to the Astros. He's a great thrower, but how many guys stealing him? You know, just not something that you see with stolen bases. It's more of everybody swings. And Odor swings hard. He's now 0-2, but he'll swing just as hard with 2 strikes.
This one very high, but foul down the right field line. So the count remains 0-2. Elvis Andrus is the on-deck hitter. Aaron Judge tonight in that Yankees win over Kansas City was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And he went to the hospital where he has a chip fracture in the wrist, and he will not swing a bat for 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So that's a blow for the Yankees.
Huge blow.
Hit by a pitch in the first inning. And 2-pitch again, rolled 5.
So that means the month of August he won't play. Basically.
Probably not. So that got Odor. So he hit it off his leg, and he's in a lot of pain. He's got a huge pad on his foot and his shin, but he must have missed that.
Just off to the side of it, you're right. Ted Barrett out at the mound, and Jonathan Lucroy going out to the mound as well. And I think Ted Barrett would have had to have given the permission for it not to be a mound visit for Jonathan Lucroy to go out. Hits him.
Hit him on kind of the you could see the pad move a little bit. And it's a big pad.
Kind of shows that the pad doesn't do much good, especially with the ball hit down on his leg that hard.
This may give us a little better look.
Hit the pad.
It's a good looking pad, though.
Yeah.
So another 1-2 coming up to Rougned Odor. And he hits one very high, but foul down the right field line. Home run distance. So pitch number 20 coming up in this inning for Familia. And a tie. 99 miles an hour. So Pagan pitched the 6th. Trevino pitched the 7th. Familia here in the 8th. Down the left field line, but that'll be into the seats. So the battle continues.
8 pitches in the at bat. 9th coming up.
Tense moments here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Really been a tight ball game through and through. He's added an insurance run in the top of the 8th inning. Center field. Canna now goes back, and Canna has it. Guzman will tag, and he'll go from 2nd to 3rd. So a long at bat. Familia ends up retiring Odor on a fairly deep fly ball to center field.
Best part about that swing was out on the front foot. Really couldn't drive the ball, even though it was hit pretty good distance considering the way he swung at it. Now limping back into the dugout is Odor. But watch how he gets out in front right there and then just reached for a ball one-handed and still drove Canna back towards the warning track. The only thing right here with Guzman getting to 3rd, gonna be a pinch runner. Yeah, for Calhoun.
It's going to be Ryan Rua who's going to pinch run at 1st.
The thing here with Familia's splitter, Jonathan Lucroy's done a good job tonight blocking pitches in the dirt, and of course with the runner at 3rd now. That is the question, and the question is right now, would Rua be in to try to steal, or is he there to try to score from 1st on a ball in the gap?
So here's Elvis Andrus, who is 1 for 3, single and a walk. He has scored a run. First pitch, and he had a mighty swing, and he rolled it foul. He may have been looking for something inside, and he got it.
You know, Cap, one of the things about this lineup, and we've talked about it this 4-game series, and we've talked about it every game the Rays play the Rangers, they swing hard. And when they swing hard, while you can say, yeah, they're swinging hard all the time, but you just hope they don't make contact, because swinging as hard as they do, that's the scary part.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons they're dangerous. It's also one of the reasons why they have struck out more than any other team in the American League.
Yep.
A 1-1 to Andrus. Takes that one down and in. Well, I think big swings against high velocity, that's not a great combination for the hitter.
No. Especially one that's thrown in a good location. That's the most critical thing.
And that one off of Lucroy to the backstop, and it's 7-6. Guzman hustles in to score.
Well, a hard breaking ball, and Luke just could not get in front of it. Spun very, very hard. And as a result, Guzman going to 3rd on the fly ball to center is able to score. And rounding 2nd aggressively was Rua, the pinch runner.
So 2-1 the count now with the tying run at 2nd base. And that almost hit Andrus. 3-1.
Well, fastball inside, and Jonathan Lucro able to at least catch this one.
So pitch number 27 coming up. Trevino threw 30 in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss. Chased it down and away.
Looking fastball, didn't get one. Slider from Familia, and watch the swing, and it says it all right there. And you throw a 90-mile-an-hour slider. That is a great location for a pitch, regardless of the count. To see him leading off the 9th, Belcher.
Payoff pitch coming up. And that one tapped foul. See, Andrus is not afraid to take a little bit off his swing.
Right. Yeah, he's a good 2-strike hitter. And you know, the one thing too, you don't have to give in to him in this situation, even though Beltre is a great hitter in the on-deck circle. But to your point about Elvis Andrus, who will use the whole field, he will shorten his swing, especially with 2 strikes.
So another 3-2. Popped up. Looks like it's going to reach the seats.
It's good it was popped up because it was a hanger. A little bit out in front was Andrus.
So another long at bat. This is the 8th pitch of this at bat. Rowe with pretty good speed at second base. Slowly hit. Chapman's got it. Chapman on the run in time. Side retired. So a run for the Rangers. 9th inning coming up. 7-6. A's leading.
Scoreboard. He'd walk in his next at bat, score a run, but then right after that, first of 2 triples. This one to left center field, head first slide. Unfortunately, didn't score there, but this one, televised dive by Tochi in center field, and Matt Chapman get into third, he would score, and what would turn out to be a ball perhaps lost a little bit in the lights by Chu, and kind of caught him flat-footed, could not throw out Chapman at the plate. The A's scored the extra run, which at this point they need it badly, and would like to get even another one before hitting the bottom of the 9th inning.
So Pinder's going to hit against Diekman, the new relief pitcher for the Rangers.
Diekman had a tough night a couple of nights ago, came into the 8th inning and walked the park. Got the first batter on the ground out, then walked 3 in a row. And hit Martini, or actually the E6. Ryan Rule stays in center field.
Hit high in the air, medium deep left center. That's going to be Joey Gallo, who eases over there to make the catch. So 1 away. Well, who's pitching this weekend? Here's the matchups. Sean Manaea on Friday against Kyle Freeland. Freeland, a good young left-hander. Brett Anderson and Antonio Senzatella. And then on Sunday, Frankie Montas and Germain Marquez. So we'll get to know all about the Colorado Rockies. I think the Rockies had the day off today, but they're right in the race in the National League West. Let's see, the Dodgers won today, so the Rockies are only 2 back. Playoff hopeful teams will square off interleague baseball this weekend in Denver as Simeon strikes out.
A little bit different Diekman than A's saw Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when Diekman came in, there was a question, well, facing all the righties, said, well, he's had a lot of success against the righties.
Lowry takes a touch outside. It'll be Beltre, Profar, Gallo in the bottom of the 9th inning if anybody were to get on Chirinos. So that's what awaits big Blake Trinan, who's warming up out in the bullpen.
Okay, something's burning.
Yeah, there is a serious smoke smell that we just started to notice here in the last 5 minutes or so.
Let's hope it's trying its fastball. Because it's something, it's bad.
Two and 1 the count to Jed Lowry. Jed's 1 for 4. He singled way back in the first inning and scored. He had that little infield hit that Bartolo Colon could not field cleanly.
I remember last night when Jed Lowry hit in the 9th inning and he struck out. Remember how he swung hard the first 2 pitches? Evidently he said, I'm either going to hit a home run, a double, or strikeout because I want Chris Davis to come to hit to the plate.
Sure.
And that's smart hitting on Jed Lowry's part because he had the great at bat against the Padres after a really great at bat by Piscotty. And Jed hit the double down the left field line, clearing the bases. But that's pretty smart hitting last night, making sure he did not roll over on a pitch.
So Diekman indeed has a very good top of the 9th inning. So Trinan trying to get the A's their 6th consecutive win.
Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by California's Great America. It's amazing at California's Great America. With roller coasters and water slides, all for one price.
So here we go, bottom of the 9th inning. 7-6, A's clinging to the 1-run lead over the Rangers. And the closer, Blake Trinan, comes in looking for save number 27. He's got 26 on the year, 26 out of 30.
Third game in a row for Blake Trinan. Bob Melvin said that been having for an inning. And see how this inning goes. I hope it's not like the 2 innings, 7th and 8th, with Trevino and Familia, because they threw a lot of pitches.
I think they each threw 30. So that's Pinder, who stays in the game in left field. So Pinder in left, Cannon in center, Piscotty in right. Beltre, Profar, Gallo, the 3 hitters scheduled to face Blake Trinan. Inside, and it's 2-0. Beltre's had a good night, 2 for 4. 2 singles, an RBI, and a run score. Not close. 3-0.
And he just might have the green light.
Tied for 3rd in the league in saves behind Diaz and Kimbrel. .30 pitch is right there for a strike. And almost hit off Beltre's foot.
Giving the ball up like that, which doesn't move that much, but Beltre hit down on it, hit straight on his foot. His left foot. 39 years old, it hurts. 29, 18, 19, doesn't matter what age, it hurts, but 39, it really hurts.
So full count. And he's got a base hit to left field. So leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 9th inning. That is the 10th hit in the game for the Texas Rangers.
Well, falling behind 3-0, 3-2, had to pretty much do that. Don't want to walk him, gave up the hit, and there'll be a pinch runner for him.
So that's Kiner Falefa, who is the last man on the bench for Jeff Bannister. So Kiner Falefa pinch running for Beltre. And here's Jurickson Profar. Profar is 1 for 3 with a triple and a walk. He's got a couple of RBIs. Chapman in even with the bag. Profar rolls it foul. The Texas Rangers have stranded 9 runners through the first 8 innings. The A's have stranded 5. weak swing by Profar. Looks like he got halfway through that swing and realized that it was probably a bad idea.
A little bit of a quick pitch too by Blake Trinan, something we don't see often, but maybe combine that with a pitch that was sinking down quickly. Profar definitely fooled.
So Profar behind in the count, 0-2. And that one gets past Lucroy, and it goes to the backstop, and the tying run is at second with nobody out.
Another hard breaking ball, another hard slider, and not able to be corralled. The back foot almost hit the back foot of Profar. Somehow it missed it.
So now Kiner Falefa will try to get a good lead at second. Semien will try to keep him somewhat close. Profar way out in front. Hit swing foul into the upper deck. Well, the A's was on Monday night had a blowout win, but with the 3 games since then, it's been high drama in the late innings.
Yes. Yeah.
Profar fouls it down to our left.
Former manager, current manager, tell the difference in the looks on the faces.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Profar, an unproductive out, as he cannot move the runner over.
And really, that's a high octane fastball, but bottom line, it's elevated and not one of those turbo sinkers that we have seen from Blake Trinan. But a swing and a miss nonetheless, and the fact that it was a fastball that was thrown hard, maybe that was the key.
But again, Ray, did you see the swing?
Oh, yeah.
It's an all-out swing.
Yeah.
In a spot where you have to try to put the ball in play.
And I want to see it again with this guy and just hope you could swing through it. Get one of those silo fly balls.
Strike on the outside corner.
Like that farming reference, don't you?
Yep. I like it. There's the defensive setup, pretty straight away in the outfield. Marcus Semien is the guy in shallow right field. Popped up. Pinder waiting. Pinder makes the catch. 2 outs.
That went through 2 silos.
That was a good one.
Well, big swing, big swing. Here comes another one, and I'll tell you, for Chad Pinder, he started the last 2 games, actually 3 games, and against the lefties did not start this game. Came in to pinch hit for Martini, and that was a great look. Tell you what, have you seen the remaining Vaughn visits? Because
yeah, they're right. See the Oakland and Texas up in the score.
Oh, okay, way up
right
high.
to the left.
Way up high. Okay, because there's been a lot of trips. And there's 1 left for the A's, 5 for the Rangers.
So here's Chirinos.
I know Scott Emerson had gone out, and so had Jonathan Lucroy.
Chirinos, a little flare, and Lowry grabs it, and that's the ball game.
Whoa.
It was scary off the bat. Lowry got back, leaped up, made the catch, and this series is over. And what a series it was for the Oakland A's. Final out. We jumped with Lowry.
And fortunately, able to play deep enough because of the 2 outs. Jet Lowry was not hit hard, able to go back, showed a lot of elevation, sensation. Tim Roy, and how about that? 3rd 4-game sweep on the road. All on the road. 5th straight went over. Unbelievable. 6th straight.
So the A's now 61-43 on the year, and they head to Colorado, just 1 game behind the Seattle Mariners for that 2nd wild card spot. 3 hours and 27 minutes time of game in front of 20,533. 7-6 is the final. A's over the Rangers. Time now for A's Postgame Live.